Welcome to the talk show Promising Bangladesh, sponsored by Crown Cement. And this is Sinha M. Sayeed anchoring this very talk show. Viewers, today we have invited two guests. One is Professor Dr. Jashim Uddin. He is basically a political scientist, at the same time sociologist. Department of Political Science and Sociology, North South University. How are you, Mr. Jashim Uddin?
I'm fine, Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much.
Other being Lieutenant Colonel Md.Didarul Alam, of course retired. He is one of the leading vocal voices in the field of social world, especially the talk show. How are you?
Thank you very much, advice. It's wonderful that you've invited me in the SATV.
Thank you very much.
Nice meeting you here.
Dr. Jashim, we know very well that Professor Dr. Yunus, advisor to the interim, chief advisor to the interim government in Bangladesh, recently visited United Nations. He made a very wonderful speech there. At the same time, he had talks with so many leaders, including Joe Biden, President of the United States of America. What is your overall focus on the visit?
Thank you very much, Dr. Sinha. We all see that his visits got huge attention locally and globally. And I believe his visit was really remarkable. It is unprecedented in the history of Bangladesh. And I'm really surprised to see that this 84-year gentleman, within just few days, he joined 40 major events and many world leaders and the leaders of the global institutions. And of course, we know that he also met the President of the United States, which was also very exceptional. Exceptionally, President Joe Biden made some time for meeting with Dr. Yunus. So when I see the achievement of his visit, I just ask myself, and I feel like many leaders cannot achieve, in many visits, what actually he did in one visit. First of all, when I see he, present the background of the revolution, July 24 to the international community. So we are really proud that he rightfully, present the situation here, and the international community is also mutually benefited from this revolution, because I'm a political scientist, student of politics, and so his speech, or when he introduced the architect of the revolution, or how it happened to oust the fascist government, ultimately it is a strong message to the people across the world, whoever have been repressed by their own government. And all we know that Dr. Yunus got commitment from the international organizations like the World Bank, IMF, and other governments. In total, $13.5 billion, which is a huge amount, and that will definitely help to rebuild our economy. All we know, corruption was rampant in the last government, and our institutions are already destroyed. So this support will be really a great help to fix our problems, the economy.
I will come to you at this point.
Thank you.
Colonel Md.Didarul, what is your understanding about the very visit?
Thank you very much, Dr. Sinha. What the professor said, I don't like to repeat those aspects, but I would like to just go a little bit more. I would like to divide his visit to the United Nations on two parts. First of all, majority of the positive aspects have been covered by the media, and what our professor is saying, those are very, very positive sides. I also like to mention that the Professor Idus is a man of international stature. He is not only a Nobel laureate, but I would like to say that I think he is a leader of the Nobel laureates. So whenever there was a problem with Dr. Idus, or whenever he wanted to draw attention of the international community, we found dozens of Nobel laureates came beside him, and then they stood beside him. So that's a very good sign. And the focus that he has tried to make to the United Nations this time is that the last government of Sheikh Hasina has been so terrible, it was not tolerable by the people in general. That's why the revolution took place, and that revolution is not by the military. That revolution is actually public revolution, people's revolution. People in general, irrespective of their positions, irrespective of their social status, they have joined all together on the street, days and nights, and took the bullets in their hands. And he, I think, was very nicely, he covered and he briefed the international community what has happened. And that is going to be a lesson for the international community. Wherever the government tries to be funny with their people, or wherever the government tries to be unkind to their people, whenever the government becomes fascist like this, the people will stand still, entire community will stand still, and they will defeat that kind of the government. That's a very big lesson that we have got, and he wanted to communicate to the international community. He has successfully done it. So what happened? The government was formed, and parallelly they started looting. They started looting the banks. They have destroyed the constitutional institutions.
We are talking about the visit of.
I am coming to that. I am coming to that.
This is the next part. I will come to you.
Right. I rather expected Dr. Idus to bring this aspect more to the international community, the background under which this has happened. So if you say that it is the mastermind of few students and they made the revolution, perhaps that is narrowly focused. With due respect to Dr. Idus, he is such a man of international status. It is not nice to criticize him, but I will not like to use the word critical or criticize. Rather, that's my opinion that perhaps this issue could have been focused more during the visit. That it is the people's revolution. It is the sentiment of the entire society as a whole, Bangladeshi community as a whole. They have revolted against the fascist government. So it is not only the mastermind of a couple of peoples, rather it is the entire community as a whole. They have revolted. So that is the point.
Thank you very much. Dr. Jashim, you mentioned about the promise of America and other countries that they promised more than $13 billion US dollars. But the record shows from the very days of independence down to present time, US promised more than $50 billion. But fortunately and unfortunately, it didn't go above $25. There are so many reasons, so many causes. So what is the reality about the dollar?
Well, before I address this query, I would like to differ a little bit with my colleague here. Actually, what I feel, you see, BMP, Jamaat and all the opposition parties, they have tried their best to change the government, and they failed. But within just 15 days, this revolution, definitely it is designed, and the architect of this revolution was presented there. One was from public university and one was from private university. There are some criticism about the terminology of mastermind, but the mastermind is actually, it means here the architect. They are behind all these, plan and ideas. And of course, I think that without having a strong plan and design, it was not possible. Of course, it is led by the students, and ultimately it is student-led mass revolution that we have to actually recognize.
Yep.
Otherwise, still we could have that the government, the earlier one. Well, regarding your question, we got commitments from America or World Bank and other organizations, but this time we feel like that the chemistry, Dr. Yunus, between Dr. Yunus and American government is a little different. So all of them are really eager to help this interim government, and I feel like they will fulfill their commitment.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jashim, for your very enlightened comments. And now the time is for break. Viewers, we are going for a short break. Please keep watching. We are back to the talk show Promising Bangladesh, sponsored by Crown Cement. And we are having talks with Colonel Didarul Alam and Professor Dr. Jashim Uddin. Colonel Didar.
Now the commitment.
Now the time is over, more than 45 days. And the challenges before the interim government is very big and multifarious. And we have seen there are more than 6 commissions. And some more may likely to come. Doesn't matter at all. What is your analysis about all these things?
Okay, let me address the first issue first, that what you referred to, as Professor Jashim said, that more than $13 billion have been committed by the world community to help the Bangladesh in order to get out of this, the crisis that we are presently having. Most of the banks have been looted, as I said, and the billions of dollars have been taken out of the country. And people like SLF Group, their brothers, their family members, very shamelessly, they have surrendered the Bangladeshi passport, and they have decided to become the foreigner. All these together have put Bangladesh into a very critical situation. But ever since the government has taken over, led by Dr. Yunus, I think there are indications of getting our economy towards the right direction. Remittance has increased. Even our relatives and friends, even my son is abroad living. He says that people are interested to send money more than before in order to help the government coming out of this crisis. I think whatever commitments you have got, what commitment previous governments had got from the international community and the commitment what people have given to Dr. Yunus are two different perspectives. The commitment given to Dr. Yunus, remember, he is Professor Yunus. So commitment what has he got from abroad, I think it is going to surpass that commitment this time. That's I believe, and I have that trust in Dr. Yunus. This is one. Second is that this government is an interim government, that's all right, but this is not basically or typically this is not a political government. Dr. Yunus did not like to take over this responsibility. He was offered this in the past also, once or twice. He never wanted to be in power like this. This time, entire country got united behind him and requested him to take over this crisis and manage it. I think whatever way they are doing, with little bit of difficulties here and there, they are on the right line. But there are, crises being, some crises are being put up to this government artificially, and some of the crises are really crisis. For example, the garment factory owners, they are not in a position to pay their workers. Reason is the money is not available in the bank. I have seen one lady, getting into a kind of a altercation with the bank manager. She said that she had got 16 lakhs of taka in the bank, in her account. She is not allowed to draw the money. So she said that it is my money, why can't you give it? She said that, ma'am, we don't have the money in the fund, in the bank account. Where can you give it from? So it's a crisis. Now this is a real crisis, and I am sure over a period of time we should also be slightly, helping the government, with the attitude of helping the government. If everyone puts up the demand, in the last 17 years he did not put the demand. Why are you putting all the demands together to this government? You know that this government is our government. We have chosen this government to run because the fascists left this country, leaving us in a terrible situation. So only 1 month or two, Dr.Sinha, is not enough yet to make a judgmental comment whether they are failing, whether they are succeeding. But with the spirit that we got them in position, if all of you have some sort of soft corner with them and a kind of an attitude to help the government, I think the problem that we are facing now, one is the government sectors, the hill tax issue and other associated issues, all should be able to be resolved, but we should be slightly tolerant in order to make sure that the government takes specific steps to help conduct the election, and by the time the political authority comes in, they are going to have some sort of reforms done. And very rightly the government has decided that as the report comes in from the 6 commission they have formed, within 2 to 3 months, they are going to conduct series of discussions with the political parties who will be finally running this country. So it will ease up their path in order to make sure that the government takes this burden to a certain distance, and from there they can take over.
And do you think there should be a national government comprising all the political parties?
If you personally ask me, the next government which is going to be formed perhaps would be better to have a national government instead of having a partisan government by the political parties, because people had seen the rule of BNP and people had never seen the rule of current Jamaat Islami and other associate parties, and there are no third party because Jatiya Party got involved with Awami League. We can't really differentiate what is Jatiya Party, what is Awami League. They have all become part of Awami League government. So therefore there is no third party. There are 2 options now. One is BNP backed or BNP organized, if they would be able to organize the other small parties along with them. Seemingly other one is perhaps Jamaat and other religion based organizations or political parties to get together and then got the election. But then to my understanding, it would perhaps be better for the nation if we can reconcile amongst ourselves and form the government irrespective of political affiliations and political differences between them. If they can form a national consensus and run the government for the next 5, 6, 10 years, perhaps the problem that we are going to face or we are facing now, many of them would be resolved. That's what is my very personal opinion.
You are talking about the national consensus. And do you think without Awami League, there should be national consensus which should be sustainable?
Nation as a whole, Bangladeshi people as a whole, are very critical about the Awami League government.
For the time being, may not be in future.
Very critical about the Awami League government because 2014, 2018 to 2024, the way they have neglected the people, the way they have disgraced the emotions of the people, and the way they got, lootings and all other things that we just discussed, perhaps people are not at this point in time, I would rather say emotionally, highly charged not to see any face of the Awami League people coming to the power. This is one part. On the other hand, Awami League had a very, interesting and very enlightened political history. Ever since the independence, this party has been in power number of times. So therefore their organization set up, the manpower, their supporters are there up to the root level. So I would like to rather say that Awami League as an organization is not to be, given their burden of disgrace. It is their leadership. So the government has rightly decided, perhaps so far, what I can understand, the people who are involved in these corruptions, political corruptions, the financial corruptions, and all other corruptions. So it must be first be resolved. And if they can reform their own party, if the new faces come in under the leadership of the new Army leadership, people might have some sort of a self-confidence with them.
Thank you very much, Colonel Didar. Dr. Jashim, you are a political scientist. And what is your idea about the existence of Awami League? As Colonel Didar says, if Awami League comes again with some sorts of reforms within themselves, and maybe say to some extent sanctified itself, and do you think that Awami League is lost or maybe revived?
Okay, before I address this issue, let me share some of my opinions concerning the current crisis the government is facing, because there are a lot of discussions going on that the government is actually failed to handle some situations. So, but what I feel that the government is really a legitimate one. As a student of political science, when we define legitimacy is the feeling of the mass people that the government is rightful and should be obeyed. And the revolution against the fascist government, and then you see people transfer the power to this interim government. Sometimes some people say that whether the interim government is confident enough, but we see that internally and externally they have all kind of acceptance and legitimacy, so they should be very confident to face all the challenges actually they are facing now. So what are the challenges? There are many challenges we see, especially the corruption. You said it was really rampant, and the figure is like unbelievable. So this government has already taken some measures, to seize the bank accounts or assets of the corrupted business mafia or political leaders. And we already we heard that the foreign governments, they assure this interim government that they would do their best to get our money back, which is really unprecedented. You see, for a long time these people, they have sent money to outside, and the people of Bangladesh is eagerly waiting to get their money back. And then all of a sudden we see a lot of demands from different interest groups, different corners.
That's what I said, yeah.
So it's not possible for this government to meet all those demands in a very short time. And let me tell you that I was talking with someone, and he told me that there are some promotions or appointment already done, but they had affiliation with the earlier government. So perhaps these are not done based on the intelligence informations, or of course they should be identified for a free and fair elections, especially if those people are in different district, and if they are responsible for a free and fair elections. So we have to make that clear, that at least neutral people are there to ensure people's aspiration for a free and fair elections. Look, what I see, this is not revolution only. It brings a great opportunity for this nation. As Dr. Yunus repeatedly said, it is a great opportunity. It is truly a great opportunity for us. Why? Because our institutions are already destroyed. All these institutions, these reforms must be taken. So now the question is whether the government should be given enough time for the reforms or not, or in the middle of the path they will leave. So whether the national government or BMP government, they will continue the reform. We need reform. We really desperately need reforms in our, all political institutions. We want a vibrant parliament. We want very accountable anti-corruption body. We want a very accountable election commission. So, but all are missing. So ultimately, normally we see the national government, they have a sort of tendency to be in power, try to manipulate, a political government. But this one, they actually, people have faith in them that within a specific time frame, of course they cannot be in power for infinity of time. Because, ultimately, people are expecting a free and fair elections, and people will choose their leaders and to rule the country. But we really don't want to see any corrupted government again. So reforms in every way have to ensure that there is no scope, no room to be an authoritarian government, to be a fascist anymore in this country. So we have all these Western countries, we have Japan, we have South Korea, all these countries, they're developed. I used to live in Japan. So I was there for 6 years and I saw the development of that country. So we can be at least Malaysia if we cannot make like Japan.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jashim. I will come to you again.
Okay.
Viewers, this is the time to go for a short break. And please stay with us. Thank you. Viewers, we are back to the talk show Promised in Bangladesh, sponsored by Crown Cement. And this is Sinha M. Sayeed anchoring the very talk show. We are having talks with Md.Didarul and Professor Dr. Jashim Uddin. And they were talking on the issues we raised here. And finally, Md.Didarul. After the changeover of 19 August, there is a debacle of relations between India and Bangladesh. And so many things are going on, especially the visa. It has been cancelled for the time being, especially apart from medical reasons. And record shows more than 14 lakhs visa were issued every year. And we apprehend so many things will take place in the coming days. At the same time, there is a dialogue. It's an official dialogue, if not official, half official, between Secretary General of BNP, Mirza Fakhrul, Indian High Commissioner Pranab Verma, and Mirza Fakhrul himself, in an interview with ANI of India, says that India wants us not to allow the people who are involved in destruction in the northeastern countries here. And we say, yes, we will abide by this. What is your overall realization of the whole things?
Thank you very much, Dr.Sinha. First of all, India is a great country, is a great democratic country. I have respect for their people. But the government of India and some of the rulers of India have never been very kind towards Bangladesh and Bangladeshi people. They could help Bangladesh grow much faster, being the closest neighbor. But they had put every time lot of obstacles, lot of obstructions in the growth of Bangladesh. Hill tax issue is one of them. We are a very peacefully living with the people of Chittagong Hill tax, which is 1/10 of our country. How the problem came in? It was just a direct intervention, direct, politicization of the area and sheltering our criminals in their lands. I myself had served 3 tenure in Chittagong Hill Tracts, so I exactly know what happened. With due respect to Mr. Santulalma, who happens to be the chairman of the Hill Tracts authority now, very mighty person. In 1985, while we were drafting, I was one of the members in this process, based in Khagrachari. When the drafting was going on of the peace treaty, he said treaty was signed in 1997, 2nd August, 2nd December, but the treaty was under process from 1984-85 onward. At that time, Mr. Santulalma used to be brought in by helicopter from Dudakchari. The Dudakchari area is a bordering area. Helicopter used to go and he used to come by walking, crossing the Indian border, get into the helicopter, whole day, discussion is on. After about 4:30, again the helicopter used to go and drop him there. He used to walk back to India. Tell me, Dr. Sinha, why? Where is your visa? Where is your passport? At that time, the peace treaty was signed. So you are officially, you are accommodating, you are giving a shelter to a terrorist leader. With due respect to him now. So today, whatever the crisis is we are facing with the Chittagong Hill Tracts has something to do with our neighbors. We must not forget about it. Dr. Muhammad Yunus has given a very strong message. If you are trying to create a trouble in our hill tracts and you are trying to play with our people, your all 7 sisters will be burning. We don't have to do anything. You yourself will have the problem which you shall not be able to, recover. You shall not be able to take care of your own problems. This is one part. As you talked about the visa, what is the problem with the Indian government? Why do they undermine the Bangladeshi people? I served in the Bangladesh Rifles for quite some time and served in the military for about 30 years. With my experience, I can tell you today, if you just open, theoretically, if you just open the border, as many numbers of people as you think that they will be traveling from Bangladesh to India, double number of people shall be traveling from India to Bangladesh. Because as a small neighbor, as a small country, our standing in the economic field is much better than that of India. You make a survey, hundreds and thousands of people from India are legally or illegally working in Bangladesh. Every year, $4 to $6 billion of cash dollars, it goes out of the Bangladeshi treasury to India. And you see how many billions of dollars that come from India to Bangladesh? Hardly any. So, there we are having the trade imbalance. We export something about $2 billion or plus minus something to India, and then India exports to Bangladesh more than $14 billion. It means we are a big market for India. But why we are trying to create a trouble? I was sitting with a group of people right yesterday night, trying to help resolve the labor crisis in the Ashuli area and other industries. As you know, we have got more than 46,000 industries of different sizes, and very good industries we have got in the government sectors, which is about around 5,000 to 6,000. Out of that, very well-to-do industries are something about 4,000, or they say 100 to 4,000. There are hundreds and thousands of Indian workers still working in Bangladesh. We did not get them out. Our government has been so kind. We did not make the announcement that all Indians leave. We did not. And there are many industries still owned by Indians. Have we done anything to them? We haven't done. Why are you putting a restriction on the visa? And I am sorry to say today, I visited India more than 20 times perhaps as a diplomatic, arrangement, under the diplomatic arrangement. Visited Delhi, visited Calcutta, many other places. I have applied for a visa few months back to India, travel to India. They have refused my visa. Am I a criminal? I'm sorry to say, I'm becoming emotional. It is because, why are you disgracing us? And I have come to know there are many of our friends who wanted to visit India, just they are retiring life, they wanted to go to, Delhi and other places they want to visit, sightseeing, then visa is not been given. Why? Why are you creating a trouble? Would you not put a restriction to Indian people to visit in Bangladesh? Why the hell that you are doing this kind of thing with us? So, I would urge upon, through your program today, all our Indian friends, don't create an artificial problem. Don't try to create a trouble inside Bangladesh for your dirty, game plan. If you do that, you will fail. Because we are united, nation as a whole united. We like to live like a good friend. We like to, improve the relationship with India. India should feel that we are a good neighbor. We are not terrorists. Don't try to dishonor people of Bangladesh. If you do that, you are going to lose. You are not going to gain.
Thank you very much, Colonel Didar. Dr. Jashim, Colonel Didar is very vocal about the overall interest of Bangladesh. At the same time, he asserted very categorically that India should not behave in this way regarding the visa. It is almost a bilateral matter. But India, for the time being, has stopped giving visa at all the stations, more than 6 stations here. And maybe there are some sorts of designs there, which is not even open to us. Do you think India at this very moment is behaving not properly with Bangladesh?
Yes, of course, I think they are not behaving properly. And I completely agree with Colonel Didar that whatever he said, it is really very unfortunate for us that we have a neighbor, India, which helped us to liberate from Pakistan in 1971. And of course we are grateful, but this grateful doesn't mean that we have to compromise our sovereignty and our national interest. India and whoever love India or who have a very good relationship with India, they always try to repeatedly remind us the Indians' role in 1971. But you see, since the inception of this country, if we deeply analyze what we have got from this country and what India got from us, then you will see very unfortunate that for example the visa issue, just they changed their attitude. The whole world recognized this revolution. The whole world recognized this student mass revolution of the fascist government.
To be a justified one. To be a very justified one.
Justified one. If you check in the Indian media, even until now, they are very critical of this. They never recognize the feelings of the people. They must respect the feelings of the people of this country.
Very important.
So they have developed relationship with a specific party or family. I think this their great mistake. And my colleague, he said, and I think I understand that he has a respect for the Indian people. India is a great democracy. But you see, when I see the characteristics of democracy, how can a democracy or the largest democracy, kill the democracy of the neighboring country? It is evident that India helped the last government in every way to conduct the rigged elections. So this is the question I want to ask the civil society of India. I want to ask the intellectuals of India that how could a democratic country. It's called itself democracy. But still I have a different perception. BJP got landslide victory. BJP got elected again and again, and Indian people elected them. It is said that India is secular, but not the society actually. They claim, you see, even Rahul Gandhi visited America, and he said that the rise of fundamentalism in Bangladesh after this revolution. So they always try to level Bangladesh, if their preferable government is not in power, then all these false propaganda and accusations that the fundamentalism is growing, Maulubad and something. So even people today raise question that we got our independence. Yes, we are grateful you help us to liberate from Pakistan, but it was mutually benefited. We got our independence, and you divided your arch rival. You divided your arch rival, and you secured your eastern border. Still, if you see the ballistic missiles with nuclear warhead is, from the western side, but not the eastern side. So, but we, of course, want a good relationship with India. I think the Indian ruling party, time to time, even recently, the defense minister, Mr. Rajnath, his comments, it got our attention. So ultimately, you see, now I feel like that the government needs to think about how to train our millions of young people for unconventional warfare, and because we will not compromise our sovereignty, and this threat ultimately push us to think or rethink, to have security treaty either with America or with China to safeguard our territorial integrity and sovereignty. But of course, we want a good relationship. India is our next door, but if India always undermine our sovereignty.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jashim, and thank you very much, Md.Didarul.
Thank you.
Viewers, we are about to end this talk show, and before end this talk show, as usual, I have to summarize what the two speakers opined, commented here. Both of them are very much aware of the situation going on at this very moment in Bangladesh, and they feel that the very visit of Professor Dr. Yunus as head of the interim government, very, very successful indeed from the point of view of economic development and other necessary assistance from US and Western Bloc. At the same time, they also feel that Professor Yunus should, at this very moment, be supported by all the people irrespective of caste, creed and age, and even the political affiliation. They also believe that under the circumstances, when the question of national consensus arises, Awami League may be a party, provided it is refined, redefined and restructured with leaderships and overall aims, goals and factors. At the same time, they also believe that India-Bangladesh relationship should be on a good footing, and India should behave properly with the people of Bangladesh, having the sense what happened during this time. India is not taking note of the hopes and aspirations of the people in Bangladesh, and it is better for the Indian policymakers. What the mistake they did in the past should not be repeated. Let us build up the relations which are for the future and the betterment of South Asia. And thank you very much. We'll meet you in the next talk show.